Good damn morning, Americans. Jericho Green here with you once again. Got to give a couple shout outs. Big up. Shout out to Janet and Spreckles. And shout out to my man, Dr. R. I didn't know you were a fan, man. I appreciate it. I'm definitely a fan of yours. Good looking out. So yesterday, I had some other things I want to talk about, but I'm going to talk about this one right now because it pisses me off the most. So yesterday, Bidenus Pervertus, our grandpa-in-chief, Mr. Here's some free shit Taliban president, hey, this isn't the mall. Where's my hard candy and 8-year-old heads to sniff? That dummy decided that he was going to mandate to anybody who wants to work with the federal government, yeah, who gives a shit? Here's the part that bothers me. He's mandating that any private employer with 100 employees or more must have them vaccinated or require weekly tests. And to that, I say, fuck you. Number one, this dumbass can't get through a speech without fucking up the words, slurring his words together, pronouncing 75% of the word. How do you take anything that comes out of his mouth seriously when he can't get it out right? How? That really bothers me. Every time this fool speaks, he slurs his words and bails on words. He just stops saying them. When have you ever seen this? Aside from a patient suffering from severe senility. Anyway, let's get to what this dumbass said. He said that he's requiring the employers with 100 employees or more to have the vaccine because we are frustrated with the people who aren't vaccinated. Well, we're frustrated with your ass too. Over 100,000 some shit people and filling the hospital beds, and they're rationing health care in Iowa. And all these beds, out of all those people, the overwhelming majority are unvaccinated. Well, let me ask you this. What else do they have? Because there's no way you're stepping off of the treadmill, eating chicken breasts and broccoli every day, dying from COVID. Now, has that happened? Yes. But in most of the cases, these people have pre-existing conditions like some kind of heart disease, like obesity, like diabetes, some shit that's going to kill them anyway, but COVID happens to be the straw that breaks the camel's back. So, tell me all of the information before you start overreaching into my life. Now, if what you're telling me is true, if most of the people getting and dying from COVID are unvaccinated, then how is it hurting the people who are vaccinated? Am I missing something? Am I stupid? Let me know. Because it sounds to me like the people dealing with this shit are unvaccinated and they're not hurting the people who are vaccinated. Because if you're vaccinated, you don't have to worry about getting the shit, right? Which is why you got vaccinated. So it's not, if you don't get vaccinated, you don't care about your neighbor. That's a bunch of bullshit. What about other things? What happened to the flu? Anybody heard the words flu vaccine in the last 2 years? Damn near. It's bullshit. And people walking around in masks, these aren't real masks. These are cloth. We're like a bunch of children playing cops and robbers. It's the same thing. These aren't real fucking masks. What are you talking about? You said you wouldn't mandate the vaccine to private citizens. Guess that was some bullshit. And if you don't get if you have 100 employees or more and you don't get them vaccinated or you don't require them to get weekly tests, you will be fined $14,000 per infraction. Okay? Let me ask you this. How come you didn't hit companies with those same fines or more for hiring illegals? Because then we wouldn't have a problem with illegal immigrants, illegal aliens, if you hit these companies with $14,000 per illegal they have on their payroll. Watch that shit dry up like that. Watch us not have a problem with illegals overnight if you put that same tenacity behind that. And it's a weird feeling to have the leader who's supposed to be the great unifier. Remember, he was supposed to be the nicest president. He's such a nice guy. Remember that sycophant on the night of the election? He said it was a reflection pool in Washington, D.C. It looks like Biden's arms spread out to embrace the nation. I had to take a shower after hearing that shit. So he's supposed to be the guy to come and bring us together and bridge the great divide. But you got on TV last night singling out a portion of the population because they won't get a vaccine. And I don't give a shit if it has been approved by the FDA. You want to bring up their track record? Are you kidding me? It's approved by the FDA? That's supposed to mean something? Isn't this the same FDA that allows a certain amount of rat feces in food products? That FDA? Who know of and allow rats to be in warehouses and they allow them a certain amount of piss on the containers? That FDA? No thanks. I won't take my advice from the rat piss people or the rat shit people. No, I'm not talking about Chicago. That wasn't a good feeling, and it wasn't nice to hear. That you're singling out 80 million people won't get the vaccine. So what? You're not going to get everybody to do everything. It doesn't work that way. You can't get 10 people to agree on what to order for lunch. How are you supposed to get 325 million people to say, okay, I'll do it? You need to be pushing healthy lifestyles, not this fucking poke. And then I saw the other day, Trump was saying that he got the vaccine and people should get it. I don't care what Trump said. This is my body. I like him as a politician. I like his policies. But because he got something injected in him does not mean that I'm going to do it because I voted for him. That's dumb. You can't make people do this shit, and it's unconstitutional. You cannot force someone to get something injected into their body. You can't do that. And here is the worst part of what he said. He said it's not about your liberties and your freedom. It's about looking out for your neighbor, for your fellow citizen. That's why you are a shitty president, a shitty politician, and a shitty person. That's the only thing it's about all the time is our freedoms and our liberties. That's what makes us America, you jackass. It's always about our liberties and our freedoms. It's only about our liberties and our freedoms. That's all we have. What are you talking about? You sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger, stupid ass. Screw your freedoms. They won't work. That idiot. What are you talking? It's always about that. That's all you should be focused on is our liberties and our freedoms. If somebody doesn't want to take the vaccine and they end up getting sick, hey, they'll be all right. Don't forget, there's like a 99.9% recovery rate from this shit if you don't have pre-existing conditions. So if you get it, you'll get the antibodies and you'll be all right. So then do you need the poke? But if you get it, you can still get the Rona. You can still get it even if you have it, and you can still get the Delta variant. But the Delta variant is easier to catch, but it's not as severe. What the fuck's going on here? But that was a terrible speech, and that was a terrible thing to say, and that's a terrible way to make some of your fellow American citizens feel. So they've hopped from racism to the vaccine. This is going to be the next great divider. The vaccinated against the unvaccinated. The poked against the unpoked. That's the next phase. I hope this ends his presidency. This was bullshit. This was overreaching, and this was evil. It was mean. And I hope it doesn't even there's already a bunch of governors and senators and all this shit about to sue him for this bullshit. I hope it doesn't get there. I hope this shit is crushed before it gets this far. But if the Supreme Court has to step in, they better do their thing. They better do the right thing. You cannot do this to people. There's a reason it's called the private sector. Keep your ass out of it. I'm not going to put a link to that bullshit in the description box. You turn on your computer, you can get clips of that shit everywhere. It's ridiculous. And the people who are championing it, the people who are agreeing with it, consider the source. Because I guarantee you they have a track record of being fucking idiots. Guaranteed. Speaking of Americans and what I just talked about, the future of America is looking worse every day. Those who are observant can see that something bad is going to happen soon. If it does, are you prepared? Do you have enough food, water, and supplies to get you through hard times? If not, check out My Patriot Supply. They're the nation's #1 preparedness company, and they have served millions of American families just like yours. Right now, you can save 25% off their popular 4-week emergency food kit, which will keep you well fed with 4 weeks of breakfast, lunch, dinner, drinks, snacks, and it totals over 2,000 calories a day. This food stays fresh for up to 25 years in proper storage, so it will be there when you need it. In fact, you might need it sooner than that. So don't wait. Go to preparewithjericho.com and claim your 4-week emergency food kit. You'll save 25% off if you act now. That's preparewithjericho.com. Don't wait. Do it today. And what I'm about to do is go wrap up my state-mandated meal period, the only good thing California's giving me. But you know how it goes. I try to be done with the left, but they just won't let me. Please subscribe. Hit that notification bell because every time it rings, a piece of shit lefty cries. Get your Jericho Green and notification tone link in the description box. Utilize a PayPal link, Teespring link, JerichoGreen.net, and Rumble. I am Jericho Green. Man, I'm out.